Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Future Force. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most critical and impactful events in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the recent strike on the Crimean Bridge. This bridge, also known as the Kerch Strait Bridge, has long been a symbol of Russian control over Crimea and a vital logistical link that connects the Russian mainland to the Crimean Peninsula. The latest attack has once again brought this structure into the global spotlight, raising questions about its resilience, its strategic importance, and the consequences for both sides of the war. In this analysis, we will explore every aspect of this event, from the visible exterior damage to the deeper interior impact, its performance under continued strikes, the safety measures in place, the symbolic and unique significance of the bridge, the staggering costs involved, and what this all means for the broader geopolitical picture. From the exterior, the aftermath of the Ukrainian strike reveals a striking scene of destruction. High-resolution satellite images and on-site footage display collapsed sections of the roadway, twisted metal beams, and black smoke rising into the sky above the Kerch Strait. The targeted section appears to have taken a direct hit, leaving large portions of the bridge unusable for both vehicular and rail traffic. Emergency crews were deployed within minutes, but the scale of the damage was immediately evident. Flames engulfed parts of the structure while debris fell into the sea below, halting transportation and creating a significant bottleneck for the movement of goods and troops between Russia and Crimea. The exterior visuals also reveal the precision of the strike, with reports suggesting the use of long-range missiles or maritime drones capable of navigating through dense Russian air and sea defenses. The strike's timing, carried out in the early hours of the morning, further intensified its impact by catching the defense forces off guard. Witnesses from the surrounding region described a massive blast that shook nearby settlements, and the plumes of smoke could be seen from miles away, sending a powerful message not just to the Russian command, but to the international community observing the conflict. Beyond the visible destruction, the interior of the Crimean Bridge suffered even more extensive consequences. Structural engineers analyzing preliminary data have pointed to significant internal weakening of the bridge's foundations. The blast caused deep cracks within the concrete, bent steel reinforcements, and dislodged key support elements critical for bearing heavy loads. The interior maintenance and monitoring systems were also hit. Fiber optic cables responsible for communication, security surveillance networks, and automated load sensors went offline immediately after the explosion. Power to several sections of the bridge was cut, leaving traffic lights, cameras, and control systems non-functional. Inside the control rooms, operators were forced to initiate emergency protocols, halting trains, rerouting vehicles, and shutting down access routes that lead onto the bridge. This caused widespread logistical disruptions across southern Ukraine and Russia, as convoys carrying fuel, ammunition, and other war-related supplies were delayed for hours if not days. The interior damage also highlighted the psychological toll on those tasked with operating and defending the bridge. For months, Russian forces had assured that the structure was fortified with multiple layers of defense. Yet this attack, like the ones before it, managed to bypass those protections. The realization that no amount of reinforcement seems to guarantee safety has shaken confidence within the Russian military administration. Engineers now face the daunting task of not only repairing the visible scars, but also addressing the invisible fractures within the structure's skeleton, a process that experts estimate could take months depending on the intensity of future strikes and the availability of construction materials. Under sanctions, performance-wise, the Crimean Bridge has repeatedly demonstrated that it is not as invulnerable as once claimed. When it was inaugurated, Russian officials boasted about its ability to handle enormous volumes of traffic, both civilian and military, under various conditions including earthquakes and maritime pressures. However, modern warfare has exposed a critical vulnerability. While it may withstand natural forces, it is not designed to handle sustained precision strikes using advanced weaponry. Each attack chips away at its operational capacity, forcing authorities to impose traffic restrictions, reduce heavy load crossings, and divert crucial supplies to alternative, longer, and less efficient routes. The performance of the bridge is now heavily compromised, with trains moving slower than before, heavy vehicles subjected to strict inspection protocols, and civilian passage heavily monitored or temporarily closed following every incident. Russia has been forced to deploy extensive resources to maintain its usability, including constant repair crews, armored patrol boats, radar surveillance, and air defense systems positioned along the Kerch Strait. Despite these measures, the bridge's operational performance continues to decline over time. Safety measures have become a critical talking point following this latest strike. The Crimean Bridge was built with several security features, including maritime barriers, anti-sabotage nets, radar detection systems, and stationed troops. In addition, Russia has deployed air defense systems in the region, including Pantsir and S-400 missile batteries to intercept potential attacks. Yet the successful strike underscores serious gaps in these safety mechanisms. Whether due to intelligence failures, technological shortcomings, or sheer unpredictability of Ukrainian tactics, the bridge remains a vulnerable target. Safety for civilians traveling across it has been a growing concern, particularly as these attacks occur without warning. Emergency evacuation plans were activated immediately after the blast, but the chaos and panic that followed highlight how unprepared the management was for such high-impact events. Structural safety is also now questionable, with independent engineers warning that repeated hits could lead to a catastrophic failure if the supporting pillars sustain cumulative damage over time. The bridge is now subject to regular inspections, and Russian authorities have limited its maximum load capacity to reduce the risk of sudden collapse. The unique significance of the Crimean Bridge extends far beyond its role as a transport link. For Russia, it is a monumental symbol of its annexation of Crimea in 2014, a visible and permanent connection that asserts its control over the peninsula. President Vladimir Putin himself drove a truck across it during its grand opening, hailing it as a triumph of Russian engineering and determination. For Ukraine, however, it has always been a symbol of occupation, a reminder that Crimea remains under Russian control, and that reclaiming it is a long-term strategic objective. Every successful strike on the bridge carries immense psychological weight. It demonstrates Ukraine's ability to reach deep into Russian-held territory, to disrupt not just military logistics but also the narrative of invulnerability that Moscow tries to project. The bridge's destruction or repeated damage undermines Russian morale, while boosting Ukrainian resolve and international support. It also complicates Russia's plans to fortify its southern front, as alternative supply routes are less direct, more vulnerable to interdiction, and far more expensive to maintain. Speaking of expense, the Crimean Bridge is one of the costliest infrastructure projects in modern Russian history. Built at an estimated cost of over $3.7 billion, its repairs have already consumed hundreds of millions more since the first attacks in 2022. Each strike adds a new financial burden, from emergency response to reconstruction, from the deployment of additional defense systems to the loss of revenue caused by interrupted trade and transport. In a wartime economy already strained by international sanctions, falling energy revenues, and the high costs of sustaining prolonged military operations, the bridge has become not just a strategic liability, but also a financial drain. Russian taxpayers ultimately bear this cost, and as each repair cycle grows longer and more expensive, public frustration increases. Some analysts argue that continuing to invest in the bridge may no longer be strategically justifiable if Ukraine continues to demonstrate the ability to strike it at will. In conclusion, the latest Ukrainian strike on the Crimean Bridge is a multifaceted blow to Russia's war effort, logistics, and political narrative. The exterior destruction is dramatic and visible to the world, sending a clear signal of Ukrainian resolve and capability. The interior damage runs deeper than concrete and steel, affecting the infrastructure's core systems, operational management, and the psychological confidence of those who rely on it. Its performance has been steadily declining as repeated attacks reveal structural vulnerabilities and force costly temporary fixes rather than permanent solutions. Safety, once a key selling point of the bridge, is now a matter of growing doubt, both for military planners and civilians. The unique significance of the bridge ensures that it will remain a prime target as long as the war continues. And its astronomical price tag makes every strike a heavy economic loss for Moscow. This event marks yet another chapter in a conflict where infrastructure is as much a battleground as the front lines, and the Crimean Bridge, once touted as a symbol of permanence, now stands as a testament to the shifting tides of modern warfare.